So, welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. My name is Eryn.
And I am also Eryn.
Hello, welcome back to the show, everybody. Thanks for being here. And I know you're listening to this a little bit after the fact, but happy CMA week, everybody.
Yes, happy aftermath of CMA week, which I have yet to see what that looks like in Nashville.
This is the fallout of CMA week.
What does that mean?
It means everyone who worked downtown is dead.
Yeah, yes.
And they have to go back to serving drinks on Broadway with 200,000 less people bothering them.
I guess that would pretty much cover it.
You've never been here for CMA Fest?
I have never been here for CMA Fest. This is my first experience with anything related to CMA Fest.
I'm blown away.
Well, are you? I didn't live here, and I really was not a country music person until I moved here a year ago.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I have had...
Oh, and I guess that also makes sense. We haven't had CMA since 2019.
Yeah, exactly. But it has been a blast because even though my first and only official CMA event was last night, which last night would have been Saturday night, we have experienced many fun things surrounding CMA Fest that we've been a part of.
I'm glad you finally got to do it.
I know. We've done so much.
So today is Sunday, the 12th of June, 2022, the year of our Lord.
Will you say that every time?
The year of our Lord, Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan.
Oh dear, yes! I can't wait to tell that story.
Yeah, so it has been a fun, stressful, sweaty, amazing, adjective week.
Yes, adjectives. Every last adjective to describe the week.
Have you ever seen my Instagram bio and what it says?
I mean, I know I've looked at it a billion times, but I can't recite it to you.
My Instagram bio right now on my personal one says, founder and promoter of Nashville Tour Stop, podcast host. Then it says, writes silly songs, loved craft beer, and the rule of 3.
Yes.
Pun joke.
I too am a believer in the rule of 3.
So are you a user of the Oxford comma?
I am.
Yeah. The people who don't use the Oxford comma, get out of here.
I like consistency. I like predictability, and for me, that lies in the Oxford comma.
Ah, yes. You should have been a physicist. There's none of that.
No one would want me to be a physicist.
Everyone wants you to be on air with Eryn.
Well, that's really amazing because that's all I ever want to be.
So let's start with this week. Just
chronologically.
Yeah, let's just... I should have done it. I should have written it on my computer that way, but now it's just kind of a hodgepodge here. So
Thursday.
Let's see. Thursday. Yeah, that would be the actual technical first day of CMA Fest this year. Mm-hmm. Correct. Mm-hmm. And your new job at the radio station had you doing some fun stuff.
Yes. So we had a hot lounge at our radio station, a Hot 106.7 on Thursday.
It is not hot temperature.
It's not hot temperature, but it's hot vibes.
Hot, sexy, cool pizza vibes.
The vibes were spicy. And so spicy. That's going to be my new Instagram bio.
Spicy vibes.
Spicy vibes. Right now my Instagram bio is Nashville's multimedia queen. But spicy vibes sounds better. Anyway, so Thursday, yes, we had a hot lounge at Hot 106.7 where we had listeners come and see the band Lawrence. Well, 2 of the members of the band Lawrence, siblings Gracie and Clyde.
Lawrence.
Yes,
presumably.
the Lawrences.
It'd be weird if their band name was taken after like one of the trumpet players.
That wasn't there. Yes. But no, they're an 8-piece band. They're a full band. But yes, brother and sister, Gracie and Clyde Lawrence, who are phenomenal musicians, truly geniuses, came and did a little intimate performance acoustically for us and some listeners. And there was some pizza, and I hosted a little interview and Q&A with them, and we all met and hung out and took pictures, and it was great. Very unique.
Full disclosure, I had never heard of Lawrence before I showed up in that room.
And aren't you glad you now know them?
Yeah, so as far as I knew, they were just some band that you were asking your friends to come watch, and then I posted the photo of it, and people are like, oh my God, you just met my favorite band, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Neat.
They're a big deal.
Sounds like I kind of fucked up missing out on this train for the past few years of Lawrence.
Yes, they are so phenomenal, and our listeners really dig them because not only are they unique and special, they're so smart. And they know their stuff.
Very intelligent.
Yes, and I love that. And obviously, we had a great conversation, and the way that they just performed these very musically complicated
God,
songs.
I know.
And because they're an 8-piece band, and we had Gracie and Clyde making all the horn noises with their mouth. Exactly. And then Clyde with his like mini keyboard that's
It had like 22 keys.
Yes.
It looked like one that you'd get from a Toys R Us, and then he plugged it into a Bluetooth speaker.
Yes, it was so badass and just really cool.
Yeah, so I had never heard of Lawrence. I followed them on Instagram already, but I would assume that was from when maybe like months ago you mentioned that Eric worked with them, and Eric's a friend of Eryn's more than mine, but acquaintance.
Yeah.
Colleague.
You know Eric. You know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was probably sometime back then when we were doing that episode of Showroom with Hariz that you mentioned he also managed this band called Lawrence. And I was just like, neat. And I just followed him. And I didn't realize after the fact that like they're a wildly successful band.
Yeah.
They just played Coachella. Mm-hmm. And
they were on Jimmy Kimmel.
That's legit. That's about as profesh as you can get.
And Gracie is an actress.
How old are they?
I don't know. I think Gracie is.
I would say Gracie's the younger one, right?
Gracie's younger. I think they're like decently close to my age.
Okay.
I didn't look up their ages, but they're young adults. They are young adults.
Wow, you could not have said that any more like my dad than anyone else.
I speak very formally. That is just how I talk.
Okay.
And not to mention that Clyde scores movies and has since he was
real,
like 5 years old.
Yeah. So what was the record they just put out called?
Hotel TV.
Hotel TV.
Fantastic album.
Right. And it slaps so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
I can't believe that it's taken me this long to get into them.
I know. They're great.
Yeah,
Very
so
unique.
after I left the meet and greet at Hot, I got in my car and I was like, which songs did they just play? And I just clicked their first song, and that was the new single.
Don't lose sight, baby, don't lose sight.
Oh, my gosh. And then now all I can see is that video on TikTok where they're asking, like, gosh, what does it say? Something about what kind of brand is your band or whatever. Have you seen that video they put up? And then Gracie's just like doing a shimmy with her shoulders, acting like a weirdo. And I was like, these people are my people.
Me.
This is me. They're the super dorky musical kids that got successful.
Yes.
Because what we're going to see more and more and more of is weirdos like us actually out there doing cool things, not pretending to be cool.
We could do, okay, before we move on from our cool time with Lawrence, this has to do with this, but I was just having brunch with a friend, and I said this, how lucky you and I, and everyone else are to make a living not only just being ourselves, but by being excited about things. Because I feel like when I was growing up, it was not cool to care or to be excited. And I mean, we were all bullied in one way or another growing up at some point. But I remember people would make fun of me for being outgoing, excited about things, passionate about things, liking things.
Were you a theater nerd?
Of course I was. And a band nerd.
Yeah, there you go.
So
it's us, the people that got made fun of in high school, who are your new favorites.
Yes, and now we're seeing such a cool shift of people enjoying watching other people be passionate and excited about things, no matter what it is. And I love seeing that being embraced, and that's a perfect example of Lawrence. So
yeah, I think one of my favorite things from that whole day, or that whole interview, was when you talked about Gracie's outfit looking like it was from Stranger Things.
Yes!
And she goes, no, it's literally just from the 80s.
Yes. Even better. Authentic.
Yeah, so like being a dorky weirdo is cool now.
Yes, it is.
Take that, frat jocks.
Yes.
Even though Eryn's a recovered sorority girl.
Yes, but now I'm a DJ jock. I'm not which is redundant. But
that sounds good.
So a great way on that Thursday to kick off CMA Fest with Lawrence and Hot 106.7. That was very fun.
That was super fun, and now I've got I don't want to say a new favorite band, but like a new favorite band.
Yeah,
I'll go listen.
That's the whole point.
That's literally exactly why you do what you do.
Yes.
So people who don't know who they are can be all of a sudden like, damn, I should go listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Lawrence was super cool. What a great way to start off CMA Fest. They played at Marathon Music Works.
That same night, yeah.
That same night. And that's a big
With Mr.
room.
Wives.
With Mr. Wives?
They're co-headlining
cool.
tour. Love Mr. Wives, too.
That's, man, I say that like, damn, I kind of wish I was at that show, but that night I was also at a great show.
Yes.
At the Nissan Stadium for the actual first day of CMA Fest. I got free tickets.
Wow.
Woo! To the club level at the Nissan Stadium, which is like that second middle tier of the stadium seats, which was super nice. And I got to see a band called Shenandoah, which I assume is a 90s band or an 80s band. I had never heard of them. But they opened, and then it was Darius Rucker, Zach Brown, Jason Aldean, and Keith Urban.
Oh, my God.
And then Priscilla Block.
Those people. Yeah.
Alumni of Nashville Tour Stop.
Yeah.
And Joe Bart, shout out. They played one of the intermission sets between Zach Brown and Jason Aldean.
Good for them.
And good for Priscilla because one of her last shows in 2020 before the shutdown was a tour stop show, a 90s takeover night at Belcourt. And she sang Any Man of Mine.
Oh, wow.
It was great.
Oh, my gosh.
It was terrific. And now she's all grown up and at the Nissan Stadium, she walks out and goes, "What's up, Nissan Stadium?"
Aww.
And then she immediately just starts crying. And I'm like, oh, my friends.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's cool getting to see our friend too, because she was kind of just that same dorky vibe that we had, and now look at her, she's playing a stadium to 50,000 people.
Literally. Oh my God, that's insane. Speaking of Keith and Priscilla, I saw them with a friend of NTS, Jessica Stamey,
Yep.
a few weeks ago at the CMT Music Awards.
Where was that?
It was at
Was it at the Bridgestone?
No, it was the Municipal Auditorium.
Oh, yes.
By the bus station.
The War Memorial Auditorium.
Yes. And oh my God, Keith opened the show with like fire and flames, and he only sang one song, and I wish he was just the whole show. And then Priscilla got to do the little like in between commercial breaks, like a little snippet of her song.
That's cool.
And that was really cool. But to see those performers for longer sets in an environment such as Nissan Stadium is just, I can't even imagine.
Seeing our friends all of a sudden be the people who are just like the celebrities.
By the way, Keith Urban is not our friend. We're not insinuating that we know Keith.
My God, that's a great segue. I called my grandma after that show because she is obsessed with Keith Urban.
He's a beautiful man.
And she thinks since I live in Nashville, I'm friends with all of these celebrity musicians. Yes. Bless her heart. She's like, "Have you ever met Keith Urban? Do you know who his wife is?" I was like,
yes.
Yes, she's a very famous movie star. Yeah. She's like, "Have you ever seen Nicole Kidman in Nashville?" And I was like, "Nope." They don't just like post up on Broadway to hang out. They're not signing autographs in front of Tootsie's.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so that was Thursday, and that was just an outrageous day. I actually left like 30 minutes into Keith Urban's set because there's like we were trying to get back to Germantown where we parked.
Yeah.
And because we lifted in, and then we left the stadium with like 45 minutes of the show remaining, so everyone was still inside, and we wanted to get a lift cheaper, faster. And we got outside, and it was like $7. And we're like, wow, that's so cheap. And then we waited there for like 10 minutes, and then the phone froze, and it said, "We're unable to find you a driver." And then it reset, and it said, "Drive, $47." And we're like...
what time of night was that at?
It was like 11:15.
Because on Thursday and Friday night on my radio show, I would do, like during my breaks, I would give people like Uber and Lyft price updates. And I would be like, oh, the fares are like really reasonable. And I noticed that between like 7 and 10 p.m., fares were like great. I mean, $7, $8. I never saw the fares spike once this whole week, but I guess it did.
Yeah, late after the stadium show with Keith Urban, that's when they skyrocketed. And I guess it was probably just the area we were.
Yeah.
Just that surge pricing right there outside of the stadium. But it was with Paul Ivy. Shout out, Paul.
Love you, Paul.
He and I were like, well, let's just walk up the street and we'll get a lift out, like off the street from the stadium. And then we ended up just walking all the way back to Germantown from the Nissan Stadium, which was like a mile and a half.
Oh, my gosh.
And I wore Converse, which are not your go-to, let's get hiking shoes.
No.
Yeah, hard no.
Your Converse have been through a lot. I witnessed your Connies go through the mud the first time we hung out when I lived here. So they've been through a lot, Eryn, I can tell.
So you're in good company here. So let's see. Then that takes us to
Oh,
Friday. Friday. We got down on Friday.
Oh, you got down.
I got down on
Friday. I made a brief appearance on Friday, but you start by explaining the timeline of the day, and I'll give you my perspective from when I was there.
Yes. So on Friday, I got to a special show. We don't usually do shows on Fridays right now, but Nashville Tour Stop did a show at the Cambria Hotel. Our friends down on 8th Avenue. Inside of the hotel, there's a venue called the True Music Room, and we did a special daytime show there from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Yes, you did. And I was there for an hour and a half of that, but I missed the chaos.
You missed the chaos.
But I saw the 3-minute video that was texted to me of you creating your first ever Nashville crop top.
Yes. So
walk us through this moment, Eryn.
So I got to the hotel about 10 o'clock to set up, and I was offered my first drink of the day at 8:30 in the morning.
Yes.
I did not take it.
Wow.
I know.
A true
Self-control from
restraint.
alcoholism. Yes, but I got to the hotel, set up everything, and then by noon I had had my first beer for the day. But the whole day was a takeover, big buyout from our sponsor, Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery. They bought the room out, and we had special cocktail menu and everything. And they came and opened a bar tab, which for most people means nothing, but for me meant fun, uninhibited, no money, no problems.
Wow.
And that turned into no shoes, no shirt, lots of problems.
You had a sliver of a shirt, Eryn. Just a wee sliver.
So the day was fun because they have their rooftop pool.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
That's where I was.
That's why you were there.
That's why I was there.
Yeah,
and to support Timothy Miles, Brandon Ellis, Eli Gable, Blake Ellis, and Hollier.
It was a hell of a round.
I know. That's why I came then.
It was a banger. So it must have been maybe an hour or two after you left. I decided it was time to bring Party Eryn to the show because you saw me when I turned into Fun Eryn when I changed.
Yes, 90s dad Eryn taking pictures of his whiskey by the pool.
Yes. Who do you called me Kris Jenner?
Yes, I always call you Kris Jenner because you're always doing the most taking videos and photos and the strange contortion pose.
I need to get some of those white New Balance dad shoes.
Oh dear.
And that would be so great. But yeah, after I performed at noon, I put on comfy poolside clothes like shorts and flip-flops and a nice button-up like vintage shirt that I got from Buffalo Exchange. You ever been there, by the way?
Yes, I actually was there not too long ago to try to sell 20 anchor dresses from
God.
Working in News, and they took none of them.
Wow.
Not a single dress was
Go
taken.
to Plato's Closet.
I might do that.
Our friend Paige Rose works at Plato's Closet.
Love that for Paige.
Yeah, she might be able to help.
Paige, hook me up, please.
Paige, hook Eryn up.
Please.
But anyways, I put on a fun vintage shirt, and I felt great. I felt great. And then Big 50 got there.
Hell yeah.
Another one of our bands that played that day.
Ooh, you know that's trouble. When Big
And-
50 shows up.
And then Big 50 got there, and they're like, hey, so do we get any like drink specials or today? And I was like, not technically, but let me go get you some drinks, because I went and asked, and because of the whole Greenbrier thing, they just got them for free. But when I did that, the bartender was like, do you want anything? And I was like, oh yeah, it does occur to me that I can drink for free right now. And that was when the day changed.
Oh, yes.
And had a couple of whiskey and cokes after a couple of beers, and then a couple of whiskey and cokes, and all of a sudden, I felt wonderful. And I needed to upgrade the day a little bit. So I summoned our friend Hugh G, who wasn't performing that day, but he was just hanging out with Jackie, his girlfriend, and I summoned them both to help me crop my T-shirt, which said "Long Live Live Music." It's one of our tour stop swag shirts, and boy howdy, that is where the day changed.
Boy, howdy.
Boy howdy! Shout out Leighton Thomas. So we just cut it right up the middle, up to about my sternum, and then we cropped it around my ribs, and
Okay, Eryn, I saw the video evidence sent to me of this experience. You did no, it was much more involved than that. Y'all struggled for 3 minutes to cut a straight line around a t-shirt, and then when you finally came all the way,
do I need to recount the number of drinks that precluded that?
and then there was some other guy who came over and like cut a V upwards for some reason into the top. Who was that person who came over and helped?
I don't even remember at this point. I don't have that video.
That was
Who sent you that video?
Jessica Stamey videoed the whole thing and sent it to me. No, might I also add that as this was occurring, you said, I'm going to wear this for Halloween. I'm going to be Eryn Cooper. Because I took that same top and cropped it to that same level. And I think you should, and then you should get like a blonde wig and be me for Halloween.
A blonde wig? I do have blonde hair.
You're going to grow your hair that long for Halloween and be me?
If I could grow my hair out 18 inches in 1 year, something would be very wrong with me.
There's already a lot of things wrong with you, but that's okay.
Let's not open that can of worms. Yeah, so I cropped my shirt, and then I started doing Kris Jenner stuff, videoing my friends inside.
Yes.
And everyone, and see, this goes back to the whole thing at the very beginning of the episode here, is like, I have no qualms about being an idiot and looking funny, because if they're watching, they're watching.
Yes.
Everyone wants to be like, oh my God, did you see that guy who cropped his shirt and then walked inside with his gut hanging out? And now I'm a story for someone in their CMA Fest party.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so if you want to see a photo of that, you can go to my Instagram. I posted a photo of me that said, I think it was Nashville crop stop.
And then you were introing rounds without shoes on. It was great.
Yes, I did do that. I did do that.
I did do that.
Yeah, I looked very very dad.
And then at the end of the day, you and Timothy Miles ding dong ditched. We didn't really you didn't really ding dong ditch. You came while I was on the air at Hot 106.7. You came up to the door, took a picture outside, left, all within the time that I could come upstairs to wave at you through the door. You were gone, like little elves in the night that just disappeared.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Tim lives pretty close to the station there, and I was driving him home. It was like 11 p.m. or 10:30, because it was like right before your show is over, right?
Yeah.
And I was driving him home because his like car has something wrong with it, and I was like, oh, there's Erin's radio station. He goes, what? It's like, I didn't know I lived this close to Erin's work. And I was like, oh yeah, we should go take a photo in front of the door sometime. He goes, let's do it right now.
I get it out of context. I was on FaceTime with my parents. They had called me for something, and I was like, what? I gotta go. And then you were gone. But that was a nice surprise. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, we knew we weren't going to get on air.
Not this time.
Not this time. Yeah, but that was the end of
That was Friday.
Let's see, Saturday.
Yesterday.
I didn't do anything fun yesterday. I literally did laundry and grocery shopped and watched 4 movies last night. I didn't do anything. I did nothing like music-y. I had a great day doing nothing.
You love to do nothing.
Do you want to do nothing with me? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Gracie.
Oh.
Oh, shout out, Lawrence.
Yes, I saw what you did there.
Shout out. And what's that called? Callback to an earlier joke.
Yes.
Okay, but anyways, tell us what your Saturday looked like, because we had very different days. So before we get into Saturday, how about we take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come right back with the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast.
Welcome back to the Nashville Tour Stop Podcast. I'm Eryn, and across from me is...
Also, Eryn. Look at us go.
That was great. That was just how we introed it.
Look
Yay.
at us go.
So we are now diving into Saturday. CMA. You were having the time of your life doing nothing.
Yes, it was fantastic.
And I emerged from my cave to do the first experience of actual CMA Fest activities at about 7 p.m. on Saturday night. Mm-hmm. Reason being, I had been working the entire time and had not been able to go to anything until then. But what I would come to realize is I saw one of the most hilarious and just chaotically special things at
Now,
Old Red.
Were these videos you posted on your close friends story on your Instagram, or were they for the masses? I can't remember.
The ones, most of them were for the masses.
Okay.
Yes. So we were at Old Red, and it was
Blake Shelton's bar.
Yes.
Shout out.
To Blake Shelton,
who's one of the only people who wasn't invited to be part of the CMA Fest.
Very randomly.
Him and Miranda.
Very randomly. LOL. Wait, well, I mean, they wouldn't be doing anything together anyway, But that night, I'm trying to recap who
Ryan Hurd
we saw, and Daniel Bradbury, and then the surprise guest, Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan at not his bar.
At not his bar, but he had just come from Nissan because he played at Nissan. And Luke Bryan showed up fairly late to his set. Fairly late. He was supposed to go on at 11:30. It certainly was not 11:30.
Now, I can imagine what was happening in the time leading up to his 11:30 quote set. And what was it?
Well, he came on stage and no introduction. He just walked on stage, said, "What's up?" and grabbed his guitar and started playing. And it became very obvious very quickly in the best way possible that this man was in the greatest mood of his life. And he had many
you don't need to
cocktails.
sugarcoat it.
He had a lot to
Luke
drink.
Bryan was hammered.
Luke Bryan was hammered.
Now, what I hope was the case was he got so drunk on Broadway that he thought that was his bar.
Well, see, it's funny because the first thing he started doing when he got on stage was he started trying to play a Blake Shelton song. And was making fun of Blake Shelton. He's like, "I don't know the words. Somebody Google that shit."
Oh my
and
God.
so he was like asking the crowd to Google the lyrics, and he literally for like 3 solid minutes was trying to do, and he like played
Which
part of
song
one.
was it?
I don't know.
God's Country?
I don't know what song it was, but it was so funny. And then I had heard that the bar had gotten instructions to not give him anything to drink.
Oh,
and
boy.
so he was asking the crowd to get him drinks. And so he took like 2 tequila shots and a
Oh, my
cocktail.
God.
But no, I cannot emphasize enough that this man was in the best mood. Like, it was so chaotic, and I didn't even care what Luke Bryan was playing at the time. I was living for the commentary. I was living for what he was saying during, in between, and after each song.
So he was playing on Broadway after he played at the Nissan Stadium last night. That's probably why he was hammered, because his set was last night.
And Caroline DeLone, shout out to Caroline, NTS family, she told me that he was taking a lot of tequila shots at Nissan before he showed up.
Yeah,
and
that sounds about right.
oftentimes a surprise guest at Old Red every night is somebody who had just finished playing Nissan, because they'll come straight from Nissan and go
To the
to
bar.
Old Red so that they don't have to like leave, come back, that they just go. And it's usually so that's why he was the guest, probably. So anyway, this man, from what I've never been to CMA Fest before, but it's my understanding that the special guest usually doesn't stay on for very long. That, they do a couple of songs,
Play your hits.
and then the rest of the night, there's usually 2 more people afterwards. Luke Bryan played for an hour
Oh my
acoustically. But can you imagine being as inebriated as this man was, and was so perfectly in tune, sounded perfectly, and played his guitar effortlessly?
Did he play it again?
He did. He did. And it was incredible, because then he brought up Cole Swindell
Nice.
for a couple of songs, because they've done some songs together. And poor Cole was trying so hard to get him off stage. And after each song, he would be like, Luke Bryan, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest songwriters, blah, 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 blah. Good night. And then Luke would
my
just be
God.
like, and here's the next one. And Luke was not taking the cues. And Cole was just laughing and shaking his head, because Mitchell Tenpenny was supposed to play after. And eventually Mitchell showed up in the crowd and was smiling and was happy. And
This is how these beefs start.
I don't think that, he was such a good sport about it. He was in such a good mood. He was laughing. And at the end, because Luke ended with "Country Girl, Shake It For Me, Girl." That song. So, and I love that song. So he ended with that song, and he was saying that Mitchell Tenpenny was up next, and I think they are touring right now. So maybe Mitchell was used to this or expected this, and it
that might have been it.
And then Mitchell came on.
M10.
Yes, M10 came on and had his guitar on. I mean, he'd been ready with his guitar on for so long. He was so ready to go. And he came on and he was such a good sport. And oh my God, it was a spiritual set. That was my first time seeing him live. He said he was really drunk too and was just there to have a good time.
I saw Mitchell Tenpenny in 2019 or 18 on top of BMI. They used to have these big rooftop summer parties. And back then the lineup was Maddie and Tay, Mitchell Tenpenny, and one other guy I can't remember the name of right now. But it was crazy.
He is so talented.
He's great.
He is so good and such a good sport.
We talked to him about playing a tour stop show many moons ago.
Many moons ago. Speaking of Nico Moon earlier, many moons ago. But yeah, I mean, it was an incredible night. And then after Mitchell, Jelly Roll performed, which must have been like 3 a.m. because he was supposed to originally come on at 1:30, but everything was like an hour and a half late. But anyway, so I have never seen anything like that. Luke was incredible. Luke was very drunk, but having the time of his life. Played so well.
Now that's Nashville.
He was having so much, that's what I loved the most is he was having so much fun and was so happy to be there. So much engaging with the crowd. Just, it was great.
That's cool. I'm glad that he didn't fumble his way through singing too much.
No, it was great.
I wonder how much we'd have to pay to see Luke Bryan try to sing more Blake Shelton.
I think he tried again at one point later in the set. He did try to do another song. Mm-hmm. And then I turned to my coworker that I was with and I looked at them and I said, who's going to kick him off the stage? No one is going to kick Luke Bryan off the stage except maybe if Blake Shelton himself showed up right now and told him to get off. And maybe even then Luke wouldn't get off.
That would be outrageous.
So that'd
be like kicking me off stage at Tour Stop.
Yeah.
I've kicked myself off stage at Tour Stop, but we don't need to get into that. So
that was Saturday.
That was Saturday.
With Luke Bryan.
Today is Sunday, June 12th.
It do be.
I don't really know anybody else playing today.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of bop around after this.
I'm going to bop around downtown a little bit.
Bippity-boppity.
There's still some bippity-boppity, gimme the zoppity. That's from The Office.
Okay.
But yeah, we're just going to bippity-boppity downtown a little bit.
Nice.
I got some friends in from out of town, and it's really hot here today. So,
oh yes, I am wearing a leather top, and I am sweaty.
You messed up.
I know, which is funny because I'm actually really not wearing that many clothes. But the clothes that I'm wearing, thank you. But the clothes that I'm wearing are very warm.
You did wear all black.
I wore all black. Half of it's leather. There's metal involved too. What am I doing? Anyway.
Well, you look great. It's all for the Instagram.
It's all for the gram.
All for the gram.
For the brand.
Yep, just for the brand. Well, give us your plugs. Tell us where folks can find you and listen to you, and we'll wrap this week up.
Absolutely. You can find me everywhere on the socials and on my website at On Air with Eryn, onairwitheryn.com, and you're On Air with Eryn weeknights 6 to 11 p.m. on Hot 106.7 here in Nashville.
You did it.
Yay.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. If you want to follow me, you can find me at the Eryn Schilb on Instagram. And you can follow us at Nashville Tour Stop on Instagram. And if you want to come see one of our shows live, you totally should.
Yeah.
Check out NashvilleTourStop.com. We've got a full event calendar there. You can keep up with the places we're playing, songs we're singing, and beers we're drinking.
Be our friend.
Yes. I thought you said beer friend.
Well, that too. But be our friend.
Beer our friend. Y'all, thank you so much for listening this week. We will come back next week. We have special guest Casey Shaheen hitting the mic with us. Friend of the show. He is the engineer of sound. Wow, that was so professional. The engineer of sound.
The only person more chaotic than me.
And me. But Casey's going to be on next week with us talking about what he does over there and what he hopes to accomplish at the hotel there. So we'll be back next week. But until then, do remember that all roads lead right here to the Nashville Tour Stop.
Yeehaw!
Motherfucker.